What's up, guys? This is David, and you're listening to the Hot For You podcast. This is a very special episode. This is the origin story episode. Josh and I thought it'd be a good idea to let you guys in on why we're called Hot For You. It's not just some random name that we picked or whatnot. I mean, it is because we're hot for you, but it comes from this story. To give you a little bit of background into what was going on, we originally intended on making a gaming podcast, and as you can tell at this point, that's not where we've gone. But this is the second episode that we ever recorded, and during the episode I told Josh this story of mine that's completely unrelated to video games, and that's where the Hot For You name came from eventually. In any case, let us know what you think, how you liked it, all that jazz. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hot For You Podcast, and it's all spelled out, no numbers or single letters or whatever. In any case, enjoy. All right. Now that we're freshly beered.
Yes, sir. I don't know any podcasts with a beer sponsorship.
Dude,
but we should fucking work on that. There's so many local breweries.
Seriously.
We can work something out.
Hell yeah. That would be
Once
awesome.
again, treat me big before we have any listens. No listens.
We don't even have it up anywhere.
No, it's not even uploaded.
Yeah.
What are we doing? But I like it. I like that you're as ambitious as me for no reason.
Zero reason.
Unwarranted.
Yeah. But you had something that you were kind of looking at talking about.
Did you tell your story yet, first of all?
No. I thought... All right, if you really want to hear my story.
I want to hear your story, man.
So this has zero relation to gaming, except for maybe kind of the job. So you haven't... We've known each other, what, year and a half, 2 years, maybe?
I think so.
So you've probably not heard the story. It's one of my favorites to go back to, but it's also... Anyways... I'll just get into it. So I was 18, fresh out of high school for the most part. Had been working other jobs. So I got a job at a very large electronics computer store.
Which is still in business?
Yes, it's still in business.
Man, which one could it be?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, its name I will not give away except for that you can get a burger and this.
Okay.
So, you know which one it is. Huge, big warehouse store, basically. And so I worked there for a total of about 3 weeks. I had my job I was given was to work in what they called the cage. It's the space behind the counters, behind the registers, where they keep the more expensive but smaller items for computer components. So things like memory, things like CPUs, small SSD hard drives for very large capacity, USB drives, stuff like that could easily walk off, but would be a big deal for them. They lose a 16 gig USB drive. That's nothing. That's like $15. You lose, a high end processor. That's a couple $100 minimum. So anyways, I worked back there. People would put in the order. We'd put them in a bin and send them out. Anyways, so for that time, you're sitting in literally a cage back there with one other person, and you don't have chairs. You just sit there and you just wait for orders to come in. You fulfill them and hand them off when the cashier comes up to get it. So not much to do except for just chat with the other person, whatever. So I was 18, worked with this lady. I won't say her name on here in case for some reason she's stalking me and found this podcast. And this, if she hears this story, it will change everything. She was 32 at the time. We had one single connection in that we went to the same high school, obviously 12 years apart, 14 years apart, actually. But we went to the same high school, but she was from Korea, I believe, and didn't move here until she was in high school. So she had a very thick Korean accent. So I worked there for 3 weeks. We chatted. I told her things about me, just generic things, movies I liked, blah, 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 things I did for fun, just because you have to talk, with these people. So I leave. I get another job, say 6-8 months later down the road, maybe 9 months. I don't know. It's a Sunday, and my family is out to a restaurant for Mother's Day. All of a sudden, my phone starts ringing. Mute. Phone starts ringing. Mute. Phone's ringing. Mute. 28 phone calls in an hour. 1 hour while I'm at dinner. So the last time, like, I was just like, fucking hell. Like, why is this person calling me? So I answer it, and she's like, hey, this is bleep, my name. I just wanted to see if we could talk for a bit. I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I barely remember this person. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm out with my mom. It's Mother's Day. Blah, blah, blah. I got to go. Bye. So she calls me another 5 times and leaves me 2 or 3 messages. One of the messages, in this time, I'm trying to figure out what went on. And so I'm like, okay, I never gave her my phone number when I worked there. I'm not listed in any phone books. The only person that's listed, my mom's not listed, but my dad is. And my dad wasn't there that day. So the only person.
Your house phone.
She's calling my dad's house phone. So my parents were divorced. So anyways, so she went through the phone book and looked up my last name and called multiple people. She called my dad, and I called him and confirmed this. And he was like, yeah, some Asian lady called and was asking about you. So I gave him your phone number. She sounded like she knew you. I was like, fucking shit. So she went down the phone book list and called my dad's house phone. So I get home after all of it, and I start listening to the messages. Pretty generic. Hey, this is blah, blah, blah. Just wanted to see if you wanted to hang out sometime. Blah, blah, blah. The next message. Hey, my mom's out of town. She lives with her mom. She's 32 years old. My mom's out of town and just wanted to see if you wanted to come over and watch Garden State, which I was a big fan of. I liked Garden State. I liked Zach Braff. And literally, and I swear to God, I'm not going to be racist with this, but this is exactly how her voice sounded. And this is the way that, she's not she's not natively born here. She came here in high school. She left the message with, all right, bye, David. I hot for you. And she hung up. Holy, I hot for you. And it was the most like, holy shit. So I am just in like complete like what the fuck mode. Like, you've got to be kidding me. So I don't answer any of her phone calls. She, I guess, gets the message after 30 something phone calls in an hour and a half.
Her, then?
No.
Oh, bummer.
So at the time, I was me and a couple buddies. We would do a lot of short films locally. Do these short film competitions. So the next day, we were doing some shooting for it, and I ran the camera, and we had one of our actors up there doing some lines, and it was kind of like an interview-esque, documentary-esque short film that we were doing, or mockumentary, I guess. And so we had one of the other guys up there, and so I'd kind of forgotten about it because I'm into this thing, and then I've got one of my good buddies with me who's helping direct, and I get this phone call, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, you remember that girl I told you about yesterday? She's on the phone now. She's calling me right now. So we stop whatever we're doing. We stop recording. Well, we don't stop recording. My buddy takes the mic, puts the phone on speaker, and I swear to God, I've got to find the recording if I can. I wasn't on any of my equipment, so I don't know if I have the original recording. And he gets on there, and he does the most offensively gay voice ever. And he was an actor as well, so he does this super gay voice. He's like, hey, this is David's phone. How can I help you? And she's like, hey, I'm looking for David. He's like, oh, hey, is this person's name? Yeah, this is she. And he's like, well, David kind of told me about this, and he wanted to let you know that he's just not interested. And she's like, oh, really? Why? I mean, it seemed like we hit it off when we worked together. She's like, well, he's just not into your type. She's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, he's kind of my boyfriend, so we're kind of serious. And I mean, just goes on for like 20 minutes. And it's just like, they started making plans together because she felt so awkward about it. She's like, oh, well, maybe us 3 can do stuff together. It's like, oh yeah, let's go out. We can go get some drinks or, whatever, and maybe go watch a movie or something. She's like, yeah. Yeah. So completely, I mean, just throws her off, and she just like completely crushed, I guess. I would, being who I am, yeah, of course she's going to be crushed.
Well, do you feel like that would have let her down easier than the alternative of you just being like, nah,
exactly.
I ain't into it, girl.
I mean,
I'm cold for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to look at it. We were just 18 and looking to have, I didn't expect that. He just kind of took the phone and just kind of ran with it and just started doing that.
Yeah, you weren't like, hey, friend, act like that we're both gay together and solve this for me.
Yeah, he just started doing it, and he's like that way. The funny thing is the next day she called and left me a voicemail while I was at work, so I didn't want to talk to her anyways, but she called and left me a voicemail. And she was like, hey, sorry, I know I made plans with you and your boyfriend, but it doesn't look, I'm going to be busy for the next month or so with my mom and stuff, trying to take care of some family things. Like, immediately, came back and was just like, all right, obviously things aren't going to go, so I'm just going to stop the pursuit. And so, I mean, it worked. It worked, except for the fact that that audio message, or the story at least, on a very limited level, got back to my mom, and she, being the very good Christian woman she is, was like, David, are you gay?
How did the story come back to your mom?
I mean, recording, I think a version of it went out somewhere. I don't know, because I worked
somewhere. Where did it go?
Well, I mean, it got emailed around to a couple of friends, and one of my friends worked with my aunt.
You were filming it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like I said, I'd love to. I'm going to try and go back and find all that shit, but it somehow got emailed around, and my aunt got it, and she's hearing my friend talk about me with this, and she's like, oh, okay, I think there's something that David and his mom need to talk about. Like, no, this was just the less awkward way to get rid of her. I mean, yeah, it was.
Well, I feel sorry for her.
I do too.
But I mean, you were 18.
Yeah, a 14-year gap. I mean,
yeah. Plus, you were just 18 in general. Like,
yeah.
I know you're technically an adult at that age, but fuck that. Everything's still awkward and weird. You don't know how to handle some shit.
No, absolutely.
But I hot for you is
dude, I swear that's the whole piece of it that nobody ever really believes me. But
I believe you 100%.
Yeah,
and
it was so crazy. Like, I didn't expect it. Like, the whole message was like, hey, my mom's out of town, blah blah blah, you want to come over and watch a movie or something. And then just like the real quick, right before you hang up, like, you're in middle school and you're like, hey, I think you're cute, click. Like, that kind of shit. That's how it was. It was like, all right, bye, David. How for you? Click. Like, what the fuck? You just leave it like that? Holy shit. So,
oh, poor girl. I wonder if afterwards she was like, fuck yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
It's going to work.
God, I would love to go back if I wasn't so damn awkward about it. I'd love to go back and interview her about it, talk about it, just see what because 30-something phone calls within an hour and a half is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's completely ridiculous.
Absolutely
that'll
absurd.
Completely destroy any attraction that I have to somebody if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay, I'm dealing with a crazy person here, and this is not going to work out. I have had that where it's seriously double-digit phone calls in an hour, and you're like, okay, are you not getting the picture here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Either way, this should stop.
It absolutely should. That's there's no excuse for any of that.
No, and there's so many other ways to get your point across now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe don't do that one.
It's crazy.
I'm glad you want to talk it out, but maybe not right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude, on that note, it's like,
oh shit!
Look at my unprofessional ass.
God damn it!
It's Jeremiah Brady. Fuck this guy.
Guy's such a piece of shit.
He's been on Jobcast before. Hopefully he doesn't call 28 times in a row. Let's see. I need to silence my phone. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, stuff at work like that is fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened to me before. Not the I hot for you completely explicitly, but where someone you work with is very inappropriately attracted to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking weird as a dude, and you don't know really how to handle it necessarily.
Yeah.
It's got to be way weirder as a girl. So all stuff about sexual harassment and stuff obviously it's true. It's a real risk. It's like really ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
What people don't think about, and this isn't a men's rights advocate thing here. This isn't like a poor us. But I'm just saying one thing people don't think about is that it happens to dudes too. We just don't feel physically threatened by it. We're not like, oh no, am I going to, what's going to happen? But it's still fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's still fucking slimy and strange.
Yeah. When somebody advances on you like that, and it's just like,
and you're not into it. You're like,
and you still got to see them every day. Like you're just, you can't, there's something there. And I mean, I know that situation happens to everybody, but you're right that there's, probably less of a highlight on the men side of it, just because generally we don't feel like we're going to get physically assaulted for it. I mean, we may get, our ass slapped or something, but that's usually by other dudes.
And it's not, you don't feel threatened, but there's still the same job awkwardness threat is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Where if they're above you, which has been the case for me twice that this has happened.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Yeah, that makes the professional situation way more awkward.
You're like, what do I do now? Because I know how you're going to react if I'm just like, hey, not into this.
Yeah.
Like, please stop that.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
Yeah, these two people in particular would not have been cool about it.
Yeah. So did you go on dates with them, or did you?
Hell no, I didn't just like, oh, let's just ride this out.
Let her break up with me.
Yeah, you just
live with 3 months with her.
I did the opposite. I had my friend call up with a gay voice, and
oh man, that's the way to go these days. God,
no. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about how I handled it.
Talk about it.
We're not ready yet.
No comment.
But it was fucking weird both times. Really weird for a long time both times.
Damn.
So yeah, don't sexual harass your coworkers. That's the moral of this
seriously,
story.
I mean, honestly, that shouldn't be a thing you have to even talk about. Is don't go after somebody at work, like, unless you guys are automatically like really cool and you're pretty positive that you're already moving in that direction. And even then, it's still a little sketchy. Like, don't just out of the blue be like, hey man, I'm totally into you, or
get better social insight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, read things a little bit. You know?
Talk to their friends, like, before you start making shit awkward, because that's just going to make the workplace so terrible.
Terrible.
God.
Like, figure a few things out.
Yeah. Don't just go all kamikaze on that shit and just like, fuck it, I'm in balls deep. Like, that's not going to go well. I mean, unless you're in some sort of, Channing Tatum movie or some shit.
Yeah, most dude. Okay, well, here's the thing: is the whole balls deep approach. It's never really exactly that either. They've tried to tiptoe in a few times. Mm-hmm. Like, there's usually some fucking warning signs. Yeah, and you usually respond in this way that's like, yeah, clearly not responding to your advances there. So let's let it into here, and then it doesn't. Yeah. And they're like, let's go deeper.
Yeah, things like, hey, we should, go out and have drinks sometime. Go have happy hour. Oh, yeah, I'm sure everybody in the office would love to go have happy hour. Or, yeah, sure, let's get, see if Josh down the office, down in the other office wants to go. Like, if they start inviting other people, that should be an instant clue of like, okay, either they just are unsure or not at all. So I should just really pull back the reins on this.
Yeah. Like, and if they're like not enthusiastic about it and they're like, I don't know if it's going to, I don't know if I have time.
Yeah, I'm so busy usually. And yeah.
But in these people's minds, they're like, man, he just didn't have time.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe you didn't have time, but if you were like, if you were hot for them, as your friend put it, you would find a way to make some time.
Exactly.
You know? You'd be like, jiu-jitsu can wait tonight, or whatever the fuck excuse I had.
Exactly.
Can wait because I hot for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There are so many warning signs out there, people. You should just learn to read that shit. And if you don't know, don't go for it.
Yeah, don't.
It's not going to be a fairy tale ending 99.9% of the time. It's not worth the risk of creating a really awkward work situation.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to quit your job the next day, then fuck it, go for it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm on my way out. Just put it. It's my last day. I just wanted you to know.
Can I make my way in?
I hot for you.
I hot for you. God damn. That's the quote of my life.
That's good, man. Like, honestly, if you subscribe to this podcast, I hot for you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we can watch Garden State together. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you got some insight into our origin story, the where Hot For You came from, which is very obvious after that story. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes or SoundCloud or whatever podcast app you use. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Hot For You Podcast, or just go to our website, hotforyoupodcast.com. Thanks, and we're hot for you.